in my in my early 20s, I had this mentor who was very kind to me. Um, she helped me. She was helping me how to drive. She was helping me getting my driver's license. She got me into a college, and she got me a job. And I'm a really lazy guy. Like up until that point, I've always been a lazy guy and not wanting to do anything but play video games and have fun. And so taking on all three of those things at once was really stressful to me. Like all of that happening so suddenly, like this all happened in the course of a week, and it was a bit too much for me to take. And it wasn't even my idea. Like it was not my idea to go to college. But this mentor just kind of convinced me to do a lot of things, and um, so I would often have these fits where I would just be really upset all the time. Like I was just angry all the time. I was really touchy. I just kept on yelling at people and such. And so that led me to bounce around a lot of psychiatric units in the hospital. Like that would often just get me into, like, unwillingly, like police would come and like put me in a hospital and stuff like that. And it happened like so many times. Like if it happens too much within a year, what they eventually do is like you stay in a hospital for like months. And hospitals are very boring, very boring. All you do there is just watch TV, and I hate watching TV. I never liked TV. I fucking hate watching TV. I need to be doing something with my hands. I need to be doing something rather than just staring at something. And and the TV had to be shared by like fucking 19 other people, so you usually never got to watch what you wanted anyways. All they ever wanted to do was fucking watch cops and watch like court TV shit, and it was bullshit. And like, yeah, all right, thank you. And like, God, that I lost my train of thought now. Um, so I ended up staying in a hospital for months and months and months, and it was driving me fucking bonkers, and I was in a horrible mood. And after a while, I started acting like a complete asshole. Like that was probably my worst behavior in my whole life. Like I was just so upset. Like I kept on flicking off all the staff members. Like they're nice people. They're just nice people doing their jobs. They're like nice, kind nurses and such. They're just nice people doing their jobs. But I flicked them off. I just kept on giving the middle finger to every staff member, just impulsively, just doing it at random, and they would not like it. They would just be really, they wouldn't be mad or anything. They would just kind of have this sad look on their face, like, oh. Thank you. And I kept on shouting random cuss words like I was on Tourette's or something. I was doing kicks in the air really hard and fast, and like it was freaking people out. And yeah, I was just acting like a complete jerk off, and I was just freaking everybody out. And like one of the reasons why I stayed there for so long is because like it takes time. Like what they do is they look for a group home for you because you're not fucking well enough to go back home, you're still gonna cause trouble. So you're gonna have to be in the care of staff members, and like, so they were looking for a group home for me, a reasonable group home that would be within a reasonable distance from my own home and such, so visitors can come and such. And this takes time, sometimes months. And the longer I stayed, the more and more the more and more of a jerk I became, and the staff was just, they had enough pretty much. Like, so what they did was they just put me anywhere. Like they just found a group home and they just put me somewhere. Like it was not an ideal spot, and it might not have been a good fit for me. So they just put me somewhere because they just had to get rid of me. And the place they sent me to was this town called Atwater. You guys ever heard of that place? It's in Minnesota. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like it's a very, very tiny town. You can explore this whole town in an hour on your feet. It was a tiny ass town, and the only thing that was there was just a bar and a bowling alley. That was it. And like I would get money to do stuff with, but there was just nothing for me to do there. And like not even a convenience store so I could just pick up some snacks or something. Not even that. Like and I don't like bowling and I don't want to fucking start drinking and shit. They wouldn't let me anyways, but and the staff there were horrible. Like 75% of them were terrible. Like they were young people. They were like early 20s. They were young people and they did not care about their jobs. And they did not care about you. And they would often say like inappropriate things, like just really unprofessional things, like you're fucking crazy. It was a lot of women. A lot of them were women. Like 80% of them were women, and they would just say stupid shit like that, stuff they should be saying to us. And the guy that ran the place, the guy that was in charge of the place, was a tiny little man who looked annoying, sounded annoying, and I hated his guts. There were days where I would just want to, like, me and him would have conversations in his office sometimes, because I would often have fits, and he would be like, "Come on, let's go talk." And like, there were so many times where I would just want to jump over that desk and just start strangling him. Like, he came pretty close to death. I don't think he knows this. But I was pretty close to killing him a lot of times. And so yeah, and the food was terrible. Like I had better food, like I've been in jail before and I had better food in jail, dude. Like what the hell? So food was depressing, the location was depressing. All the people in there were depressing. It was just a depressing situation. It was the worst place I've ever lived at. And I had to be there for like 3 months. And like, as time went on, I was so depressed that I couldn't eat anymore. I wouldn't sleep much. I started throwing up at random, and I was just having a horrible time. It was the worst time of my life. And it got so bad, like, and I would play video games just to like forget all this, like video games was keeping me sane a little bit, although I was bored to death of them. Like all the games I had, like I played them all to death, and like, but I was just doing it anyways, because there was just nothing to do there, and like, fucking the guy in charge goes, "I think you have a problem with video games. I think you play them too much." So he fucking took it away from me. He took it away from me. And that was the last fucking straw. Like, I couldn't take it anymore. And like, for for a month and a half, I had to go without video games, and eventually I cracked, and I tried to, like, I don't want to get too I don't know. I just telling a story here. Like, I eventually tried to end my life. Like, I stabbed myself in the neck, and like, but like, it wasn't hard enough, but it started bleeding like crazy, and like, I had to go to the hospital again, and like, they sent me to another psychiatric unit, and thank God, like, they were like, okay, I think you can go back home. I think it would be good for you. And I was like, thank God. I want to go home.